of television. I want to point your attention to a column in the Washington Post, and it describes the situation this way. The president and his most senior advisors have struggled to define the mission. They have relied on euphemisms, time-limited, scope-limited military action to explain what the U.S. role is and is not. The results of their efforts have been mixed at best. If Mr. Obama's statement of U.S. policy is that Gaddafi must go, why isn't that the stated goal of the military mission?
Well, that's precisely the point, Greg. The president has shown unbelievable lack of leadership in all of this, as he's for 30 days not engaging in it. Finally, when he did, he consulted with the Arab League and not Republicans. The mission, as you point out, is ill-defined, but what he has defined is exactly what's taken off the table, what he's not willing to do in order to achieve whatever those vague goals are.
Congressman Pallone, what about that? He's got to go, but we're not going to make him go. Has that led to confusion?
Well, I don't have a problem with the president's caution. I think listening to Congressman Fleming, he sounds like he wanted him to go in sooner. I don't think that was the right thing to do. I think it was right for the president to be cautious. But I stress again, he must specify what the goals are. What are we trying to achieve? Is it to get rid of Gaddafi? Is it just humanitarian? Will there be arming of the rebels? I mean, a lot of these concerns are still out there and really haven't been defined. People want to know what the U.S. role is. But I would err more on the side of caution and not criticize him for going in, for not going in earlier.
Congressman Fleming, take a look at this recent Reuters Ipsos poll. Only 17%, we're going to put it up on the screen, only 17% describe the president's commander-in-chief performance as strong and decisive. 48% called it cautious and conservative. 36% labeled it indecisive and dithering. Well, patience is sometimes a virtue, isn't it? Especially when it comes to military matters. One should be very deliberative.
Well, I have no problem with him being patient or deliberative, but he was actually neither. He said right from the get-go that we would not do a no-fly zone, and then waited 30 days and changed his mind. He was not deliberative. He only even approached Speaker Boehner 90 minutes before the attack and 2 days after the decision was made. Right. So this has nothing to do with patience. This has to do with strength of leadership. He should have been out front leading this, and now he's ceding leadership to NATO.
Well, but instead of unilateralism, he was looking for multilateralism, wasn't he, Congressman Fleming? He didn't want America to be accused of going into a third Muslim nation and starting a war. And so he cobbled together a coalition of the willing here, including the Arab League. Wasn't that the right thing to do?
Yes. Absolutely, Greg. All I'm saying is he was consulting with folks overseas while ignoring Congress. In fact, he launched this attack just as members of Congress were leaving for their work period at home. We only found out about it as we got home and looking at it on the news.
And I know you're on the Armed Services Committee, so it sounds as though you would have liked to have been consulted. What about you, Congressman Pallone?
Absolutely.
Should the president, have called Congress together? I know they weren't in session when it happened, but he could have called them into a special session and consulted with them first.
Well, I don't want to second-guess him. I think that, in the 21st century, oftentimes military action, particularly in this case that's done with other countries, may be necessary without immediately asking for Congress to vote on something. So there may have been military reasons for that, particularly with our allies. But I do think there needs to be more consultation, and once he describes what the goals are and how long we're going to be there and what our role is, it may be necessary at some point, if we're going to be there for a while, to come to Congress and ask for our approval.
Congressman Fleming, many analysts say that short of targeting Gaddafi in a military strike, which President Obama has said he will not do, the United States and its allies may face a long and expensive war of attrition. Why not take out Gaddafi?
That is an absolutely tremendous question, Greg. My belief is that we should always state clearly what our goals are and take nothing off the table, do whatever is necessary, boots on the ground, or take out the leadership, or whatever is necessary, rather than put American lives on the line for some limited warfare that seems to always, Greg, get us in trouble.
All right. I want to say many thanks to Congressman Frank Pallone, Congressman John Fleming. Gentlemen, I know you'll be anxious to hear the President's words tomorrow night, and we'll be carrying it live on Fox News. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Great.
Fox News will